When I was younger, my dream was to be very successful in life and help the needy. And actually, I grew up in a home when my mom was a businesswoman, and she shown us we were going to the shop. She introduced us into business, and that was what I started when I was a child. But because I decided I had a partner and I decided to change my way of life because of family.
How would you describe success? Because success is subjective to people, and someone could deem as successful is very different depending on the person. So, what, as a younger person, would you say success was?
The word success is a massive word, and everybody look at success in diverse way. According to me, I would say success that in which you desire in life and able to achieve it. Like when it comes to family, when it comes to success, doesn't have to be that you are wealthy. It doesn't have to be that you are very rich, but the ability to you to have a family. If you are the type that like family, I like a big family, and that's why I have a big family, and that's one of my success, my family, and then I love my job too. I like to care for others, and that's one of my success too because I like to give people that are really needing help. I want to be there and give them help. So that's one of my success because my job, I love my job, and because I help the needy, I actually work with people that have learning difficulties, and the ability for me to be able to be there for them is also one of my success.
So let's move on to like 50. When you like when you turned 50 at first, how did you feel about that decade? Because that means you have like lived on the planet for five like decades, and what did that signify to you? Like the morning you turned 50, was it like a significant event?
Few months I became 50. I had a lot of challenges, like when it comes to health wise. I had the swing, the mood swing, the hotness. Because I've never experienced that, I had to go to the doctor, and that was when I knew. I've been hearing about menopause, but I was really, really, really down. Where even in the cold, I'll be very hot. So menopause is quite a big one before you turn 50. Some people they get to menopause before 50, but mine actually happened few months before 50, and I was really, really struggling when it comes to health wise. I had different types of illness and all that. But the morning I became 50 was really, really a special one because I had on my 50th birthday, I had a surprise birthday by my husband. Um, I wanted to have just my family just have celebrate 50 with me. But on that day, in the morning, I had lots of noise in my house. And I said, wow, what are they doing? And at the time I got downstairs, I saw that I had a a special birthday for my husband and my kids. They all planned it. I would never forget that morning because I've never had a surprise in my life. But on that, my 50th birthday, it was actually a surprise birthday from my family.
It was from my mother, who must have who had left a kid, and a kid with
Then
her.
that
Hold on,
race.
hold on, a kid with her mother, and she was living in like a totally different country. So, how did you feel?
And me leaving my eldest son back home with my mom, um, it was really difficult. It was quite difficult. Would I say one of the most difficult time of my life? Because at home I was really settled. I had a business. I had to choose between business and family. With family pressure to say, oh, you need to go and meet your partner back in where he lives. Um, it was really, really difficult. I came to this country and I was in tears. I almost every day I was crying because it was completely different from where I was coming from and staying at home, no job, your eldest son back home. It was one of the most difficult time of my life, and really, really difficult. I couldn't. It was really difficult for me to cope for years. I know I would wake up in the night, shed a lot of tears, and then the only thing I could hope for was just to pray that one day I'll meet again with my son.
Okay. Now let's lighten the mood because that became
That one.
too. That was too much. That was way too emotional. Um, I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite book, if you read?
I'm not the type that I read often,
But in your
but when
whole,
I was
yeah.
growing up, I loved Chinwe and Chebe because especially Things Fall Apart. It was one of my most favorite book, and it talked about how people were being dehumanized, but it talks also about other people's culture and what they really um, enjoy, their culture, their religion, how they were being led by their leaders. So Chinwe Achebe, Things Fall Apart.
What's your life philosophy? Like, what like makes you? What's your drive in life? What's your philosophy? What do you? What's your true belief about life?
It's quite a dicey one. Uh, my philosophy or my drive as a mom,
No, not as a mother,
as a
as the
person.
person. Because I think a lot of people, when they have kids, they stop thinking of themselves as like a human and start thinking of themselves as an extension of their kids. And thinking of yourself as an extension of your kids when you're making decision for said child is really important. But
Mm.
I think thinking of yourself as a person is also really necessary.
One of my philosophy, I've told you, one of my philosophy of my drive is to be able to help others. I I want to be in that position where I can be able to help the needy, people that are less privileged, people that are disabled. I'll be, if I'm possible, I'm there. I'll be able to help them. That's one of my drive. Maybe because I've worked in the care sector for a long time, and it's really giving me that drive to be able to help others and be there for people that really needs it.
Now that you're 40, 54,
54.
yeah, 54, on the internet, there are like people who, when they turn like 21 or 35, they give like 35 advices that they got or like they have discovered as their each year. So for your 54th birthday, can you say like three like lessons you have learned and like give an explanation for those
I
lessons?
think age is just a number because in life, some people can be 20 and they will get more experience than people that are 54. So that's one of my, would I say, one of my ideology. Age is just a number because some people can be 35 and the experience they've got in life will be more than somebody that is 60. But as being 54 and being able to leave my country and come to this country and also experience some good and bad, first of all, I'll talk about relationship. I so much believe in family, and I believe when two people come together and decide to bring somebody into the world, and also when things does not work out in the relationship, the person that you have brought into the relationship should have a say because you decided I know when things are rosy, you wouldn't know things will become sour one day. But the ability for you to bring somebody into the world and then just decide on one day, oh, I don't want this relationship. But I know your mental health is very important. I know that some people are being abused, but the children should be put in the picture if they are on the age of saying, oh, mom and dad are not finding this relationship. Okay, we need to deal with it. Not that some children are just being told, oh, we are getting separated tomorrow. I think the children, number one, should be put into the picture because a lot of children suffer broken homes, and that's one of my I always, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to marriages, I always try as much as possible to do the best, not because of me, but because of the people or the children I have put into that relationship. I like to be there for the needy, for people that need this help, people that have been because the less challenge, and the people that are in a disabled needs our help, and they need to trust you. So I like to be there for them to trust me, and um, believe that I'm always there for them. That's one. Number two. And number three is to know that even if things are very difficult in life, there's always at the end of the tunnel, as they say, there's always light. Sometimes things can become very difficult for you, and you say, oh, how am I going to face it? How am I going to face life? Because I did experience such thing where I said, oh, this problem I'm facing, when is it going to end? But it will always end, because it started one day and it's going to end one day. But the day it started, you didn't know, because you can't predict what's going to happen to your future. And the day is going to end, you wouldn't know. So it's just patience, perseverance, and believing in yourself and trusting in God that every problem has an end. And life, I had a pastor back home who said, life is not a Ludo game. It's not a game you play and you say 2 plus 2 is 4. Life is completely different. So the ability to you for you to be able to strive and keep on hoping and believing that one day the problem you are facing is going to end. That's one of my ideology. Thank you.
There's no need to say thank you at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm asking if
Um.
you've ever answered the question, but I know they are drift away from the question.
No, it's okay. Even if you drift away, it's better to drift away, and it can spawn a new conversation
Okay.
instead of like
Um,
staying so close to the question and limiting yourself.
okay.
Um, the next question is, what are your interests, stroke hobbies? Like, what do you do to pass time? Because now a lot of people don't have like hobbies. A lot of
No.
people just doom scroll on the internet, and they notice at the end of the day their phones have taken all of their day.
Oh, that
And
time.
I am a victim of that. I doom scroll a lot as well. So, what do you do in your day? Like,
Uh,
what are your interests?
my interests are, one, spending time with my family, and secondly, like just what you said with the internet, I like to scroll on the internet and see what's happening. I like the gossip in the internet. Actually, it
That's not
keeps
good.
my day.
Wait, that's not a good thing to say.
Um, uh,
Okay, continue.
because sometimes you pick up
Yeah,
a topic in the internet, and different people have different ideology. Different people have different talks about this one particular topic, and I whatever they say, sometimes I do not believe it, but I just want to listen. Uh, I like to watch movies and listen to um uh, music, especially the Christian music. It does help me, especially when I'm down. I like to listen to music, especially when I'm in bed. That's one of my hobby. I enjoy it, and I like to listen to preachings. Those are one of my hobbies. I like to just look at the internet and listen to Christian music, which does help me a lot.
When your mother died
Mhm.
and you realized that, oh, my mother died, and when I was growing up, I called my grandma EA. When EA died,
Mm.
and you realize that this entity, this human being, this person, my mother, would never be able to communicate to me ever again because she doesn't exist anymore. If there is a God, she's with God, maybe, if she was a good human being, if she followed Christ. And if there's no God, she doesn't exist anymore. How did that snap for you when you heard the news that she has taken her last breath?
Mm. When my mother died, um, I was here in this country, and I was told in the morning that my mother had died. It felt the whole world had crumbled because I was very close to my mother. Despite I was in this country, I call her 3 times a day. In the morning, afternoon, evening, I call her. And I know she suffered a lot because she died of cancer. And the stages on how she died, I was part of it and I knew it. And when I heard that she had given up she had died, I felt that my whole world, because when my father died, my mother told us that, oh, I'm here. I'm going to fill the space of your dad and also the place of your mom. So I had that in mind. And I said, okay, my mother is still alive, so I will be able to communicate with her. Whenever my dad was there, she can be able to. I know she couldn't replace my dad, but she was part of it. But when she died, my whole world crumbled. And that's the saddest day of my life. Till today, it's still the saddest day of my life because I thought she went through the
Chemotherapy.
most chemotherapy, and she was struggling to be alive for us. And when she died, it's one of the saddest day in my life, and it continues to be one of the saddest day in my life because I know I couldn't speak to her anymore. Somebody I used to speak to 3 times a day, and I couldn't. Even when she died, there was even a day I had to call her number because I said, "Oh, I'm going to call her," and I remember, oh, she had died. So it was really, really difficult, and it was a challenging time for me.
For the pain of losing a parent, does the pain ever go away? Because you mentioned your father died earlier and
Yeah.
your mother became both parents in
Yes.
one person.
Yes.
So, when you lost your father, let's go back to like
Mm.
when you lost your father. When did you ever feel the absence of that person?
Yes. When my dad died, it was actually like an emergency death because he had an heart attack, and I actually met him that morning, and I spoke to him in the morning, and I think less than an hour after I spoke to him, it's not even up to an hour, 30 minutes after I spoke to him, I was called that my dad had died and he had an heart attack. So it was really, really difficult for me also. But my mom was there and she said, oh, don't worry, your dad, I know it's really difficult. Your dad it died, but I'm there for you. I will be there for you guys. Whatever your dad has been doing for you, I will continue. I will try as much as possible to do them for you, which she really did before she died.
On the internet, I know I've said this before, and there's a podcast coming soon on this topic, and there was this 80 something year old woman, and she made a video, and she said she went her life away. When in your life means, oh, when I get to this point, I will do this. When I have 50, $100,000 in my account, I'll do this. Do you think there's any time in your life, or do you think you have ever went the last 50 years away, like for just one thing. So when in a way,
So when in
uh,
a way, according to you, is that when I'm
like
this age, I want to achieve this.
no. So when in will be, oh, um, I should buy the car for myself because I can afford it. But no, when when this person goes to college, then I'll buy the car for myself.
Okay, yeah,
Or
like
like just putting it off.
or
That's
put
what
in a
when in
for
means.
that's when in a way. Actually, I would say not all the whole 50 years of my life that have went away. Um, I have some years I have went away, especially you being a mom. Uh, you tend to put your children first before yourself. There are sometimes I go to the shop and I say, "Oh, I like this dress. Well, I'm going to buy this for my son first, and maybe tomorrow I'll buy that for myself." I end up not buying. But I realized 3 years before I became 50, and I said, "No, I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to buy for myself first because the children, they've already got enough before I buy for them." So I think some years I think I've really went away, putting my family first. But I realized that sometimes it's good to be selfish, just to do it for yourself.
How do you navigate a normal life when you see other people living better lives than you?
I believe when I was growing up, I was always told that just the way the fingers are, so is everyone. Everybody has got different way of life. Everybody has got different. Some have the rich, the poor, the middle class, those that are struggling, those that have and can't even eat. So the position I am now, I'm okay. I'm fine because if I get a better one, like a big house, get a big car and all that, I'll be happy. Well, I'm happy now because I've got a family, I've got children. My children are well. One thing I believe in is good health. And if you've got good health, I think you've got one of the best things in life. Because when you are not sick, you don't live on drugs. Because I take medication every day, so I know what it means. Before sometimes you forget how to take medication, and after some time you get to the doctor and they say, "Oh, you've not had your medication. That's why these things actually happening to you." Because I need to take medication every day for myself. So when I believe in good health, and if you've got good family, children that loves you, that care for you, then I think that's the best in life.
Okay.
And that's my belief, and that's one of my ideology. Being able to be there for your children, your husband, and then being able to be there for you when you need them, they will be there for you. I think that's one of the best thing in life. I came from a wealthy home, so I know wealth is really, really good. Money is really, really good. I never struggled when I was a child, when I was back home, because my father was very wealthy. I came from a very large family, and my father was very wealthy, and he could provide everything I needed. And my mother also was okay. So I didn't come from a poor home. I didn't struggle. I didn't know if you cannot eat 3 times a day. I knew that you can even eat, if you want to eat 10 times a day, the food is there for you to eat. And when you need money, your parents are there to support you. So the ability for me to also do the same thing for my kids and provide for them, that's all I need in life.
Imagine you go into a room of every single person you have ever met.
Mhm.
Who would be the first person you would want to meet?
So now, my life now,
Yeah.
the
So
first person I would want to meet, and if the person is still alive,
no, so
and give
the
the person a
question, hold
hug.
on. The question is this is a room of every single person you have ever met.
Uh,
It's an hypothetical room.
uh,
So even the people who die or are dead and
uh,
alive, they're all going to be in that room. Imagine it's a party and they're all people you have met in your life. Who will be the first person you want to meet? Like
the
walk
first
up to.
person I want to meet is my mother, and just to say thank you to her.
Back to dreams in life. What did you, because when I asked about dream, you're talking about kids, but as a young person,
Mm.
you would not think, oh, I dream to have a child. I
Mm,
maybe it's different for you.
yeah.
Maybe it's
When you
different.
are drunk, you will never dream of having
Yeah,
children.
yeah. So, what was your dream for your life? Like you,
When I
like
was growing up
yeah.
as a child. So when I was growing up as a child, I dreamt. My dream was to be successful in life.
In what aspect? You have said that before. Like in
So
what aspect did you like? Like for example, if you say some what you're like describe the dream. Like how did you envision it?
so my because I was because I was into business. I my dream was to be a very big businesswoman, have a big shop, travel all over the world, and have a big shop and be wealthy like my parents. That was my dream.
Elaborate. Like what? Like when you dream about something, you envision how you
Yeah.
see it.
So my mom was she traveled most parts all over the world to do businesses. So that was one of my dreams to become one of the uh, 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 a very good businesswoman and be able to because my mom did buying and selling like selling of clothes, and that was what I was incorporated into doing, and that was always my dream to follow the footstep of my mom to be able to travel all over the world, buy lots of fabric, different kind of fabrics, jewelries, and be able to supply to different people, like being a maid distributor to that fabric, to different kind of fabric and jewelries, having a big shop and be able to be successful in business.
I believe that life is. Oh my God. I believe life is a book, and different parts of your life is like a different chapter of the book.
That's it.
So, if like, what would you say this chapter of your book is, or this season of your life in your book would be titled, or the chapter would be called?
Because it's my 54th birthday and it's a new chapter because going into a new year, you might not be able to know what's happening, but the past before the 54. So if I'm going to be writing a book, which I'm not very, very good at doing, I'm not a good writer. I mean, I'm not, I don't write that often. I would say, um, 54 would be the best.
No, title.
54 is a unique number.
It's okay, come. It's okay. You can sit. Grace, you can come. The camera does not see the door, but you have to stay there. I'll cut it off.
54 is unique.
Okay, I'll leave that. Grace, recommend the topic. I'm done.
So I'm going to say something
Okay,
because you just said, what book am I? I've never done a podcast in my life.
yeah.
And that's what I'm going to call the book because just the way you said, life is like a book. I'm going to call this book the chapter 54 is a unique number. And I'm going to remember it.
So, what would you say 53 was?
53 was equally chapter 53. I'll call it chapter 53. And it was quite a challenging year for my life. It was the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, but I'm hoping 54 will be the best.
Okay. What do you think about racism?
Oh my God. What do I think about racism?
Yeah.
The word racism, even saying it, and is so inhuman.
Do you think people who are racist are mentally disabled?
No, I think some people maybe where that's one of my thinking is that some people might grow up in a house where maybe their parents.
Are you racist?
I've not finished talking. You didn't let me finish one before going to another one. So I think some people um grew up in a house where their parents or people that they live with might think they are more superior than others, because racism can be people thinking I'm more superior than this other person. So the second question that you asked and saying, am I racist? I am not racist.
Are you sure?
Very sure.
How do you
Because
describe
I
people from?
I think everybody's equal. In my sight, everyone is equal, and that's my one of my beliefs. Everybody's equal. Be you different race, everybody's equal. We might
What
have different skin color, but everybody's equal.
my take on race, I've said it on this podcast multiple times. I think there's only one race, the human race, but different variations.
That's it.
That's what I think. I don't
That's it.
think.
And everybody have different
Yeah.
colors. Just you have white, black, purple, green. The word is the word color is very colorful. So also the skin is different. But everyone is same,
Yeah.
because if you take away the skin, if you open up a human,
We all bleed bread.
we all bleed. We all the same vein. We have the same hearts. We have the same brain. We are all different. We are the same, but it's a human
Do
race.
you like the royal family?
Yeah, yeah, okay, they are fine. They do what they do, and I do what I do.
Would you
I don't
bow
rely on
to?
them, and they don't rely on me.
Will you bow to William if he was here?
Yes, because where I'm coming from, I've got an Oba that we respect. We call our Oba that he was is um, a divine being from God. So if he's
What were we talking about before? Almost 45 minutes. Oh, oh yeah, the royal family.
I'm going to say yes, why would I not bow to him? He's the king.
Yeah, the sound is gonna be very bad because I'm gonna try and look for as much as look for a lot of like sounds from the camera and from this mic and like try and merge it together because the sound will not be sharp anymore. Unfortunately, no, it's you cannot hear that one anymore because it's just this mic. Um, yeah. I don't know. Should I should end this podcast here. Really deleted TikTok from my phone. I think the platform TikTok is a very toxic place, and I knew because of how the algorithm works, and because of the indecisive, you can't decide what you're gonna watch next. So I chose to delete the platform from my phone, and now I only consume YouTube because I can curate my feed and what I want to watch. But that's what I was gonna say. But Where's My Mind still exists on TikTok, so I'll be posting there, but I'm not gonna be watching TikToks anymore. The book of this week is The White Knight by Dostoevsky. That was the book I read this week. Yeah, truly, that's all that has been on my mind. I'll speak to you next week. Goodbye.